This is JD working really hard at jewel hunting, so I'm trying to find the appropriate setting and jewel to fit this pocket watch I've been working on. It's tough, I'm telling you, it's really tough. I got all kinds of different types of jewels. I'm hoping I don't have to make a setting. I've got one here that looks like it might be a candidate, right here. So I think this one here fits. I fit it in where the setting is, it fits perfectly. The jewel just pokes through the hole, which is actually perfect as well. So this with the cap jewel on top might be the solution here. So I'm just continuing to hunt for the jewels and put the ones away that I know don't fit. And this is the master right here. I put a little red mark on that so I wouldn't forget where the master was, because if you do that, you're kind of starting from base camp 0. And I've got all these jewels here that I'll dump out and just quickly look at to see if they meet the size of the master. And then after I've looked at the actual size, like this one here, for example, looks a bit too hefty, and the hole size looks too small, and the rim size around that jewel doesn't look right. So if I just zoom in a bit here and turn the light on. Yeah, so I look at the actual jewel hole size, and I can kind of eyeball it after a while. This is way too small, so that's never going to fit. This one is a potential candidate. I can see the jewel hole size is a bit bigger, and the jewel itself looks fairly good, but does it fit into the plate? So if I look at the plate over here, and I take this jewel that I just picked, and will it fit into the plate? Does it need to be modified? What's the story here? No, it actually fits in the plate. So there's a potential candidate. And then I take the, it's fitting in the plate, but is it going to fit? Is the rim going to fit on the other side? So I'll push that in with a piece of Rodico, flip that around, and have a look at where the rim actually fits in there, and see if there's a decent fit there. And it does fit through the hole, which means the rim's fitting perfectly. So this is a potential candidate right here. So now, after I've done that, I have to take this jewel, let me just push this off for a second, and then I'm going to go over to the this here, which is the balance itself. I'll bring it over. I have it under my microscope right now. So I'll bring that in, and I'll take this setting, and I usually do this under the microscope. That way I know if there's too much side shake. A little trickier to do, and you're better off just dumping the jewel and starting again, by the way, than trying to pick it out from the hairspring, because you're likely going to just ruin the hairspring. So I come back again, and like I said before, it's much easier under the microscope, but I'm doing it here just to show you how I do it. Oh my God, driving me nuts. You gotta have a lot of patience to do this, by the way. So when there's a jewel in a setting missing, you're working very hard to replace it. And if you can't replace the I'm trying to rock it on, but it won't rock on. If you can't replace the setting, then you have to find another one, or you have to make one, which I've done before. And that's about 3 hours worth of work. So I'm going to go under the microscope for a second and have a look and see if I can fit this, because it's driving me nuts trying to put it on top. It looks like it should be the right size, but no, this is just pissing me off, so I'm going to go over to the microscope and do it over there. Which is a lot easier, folks. A heck of a lot easier. So we'll get back in a second. So here I am under the microscope. I just managed to set my camera up a little bit. So it's not the greatest picture, so I apologize. But so here's what I would do. Here I've got the balance just laying there. I grab the jewel. And I put that right on top like that. Now that's upside down, so I want to put it the other way. So I'll grab that jewel again. And I can actually just flick it off. Very hard to work with this. Like that. And I have to put my other glasses on to actually see what I'm doing. Like I said, you got to have a good temperament to do this, because if you don't, you'll just take a fit. And what I want to see is the side shake. So I'm getting myself set up. You put one set of glasses on, you take them off, you put another one on, take that off. And if you've done this before, you know what I'm talking about. There we go. And there it is there. Now I think that's too much side shake. It fits, it's good, but I think it's too much side shake. So the other jewel I had was much better, and that's this one right here. Just hang on a second. This jewel right here I think is the right one. That fits nicely, and it doesn't have a lot of side shake. There we go. That fits perfectly on top. Not a lot of side shake, and it also fits into the movement. So I'm going to use this jewel. Depthing might be an issue. So it may be slightly off from the depthing of the previous setting, and I'll know that when I reassemble whether this actually works or not. So I'm going to grab this jewel and put that aside. I'll put that next to the master, knowing that that's what's going to be replacing it. So there you go. Now you've only seen a few minutes of this, but I've been at this for an hour and a half. That's how long it has taken me to find a decent jewel here. It takes a long time to capture the right jewel. And I'm going to put some backup jewels here too, just in case, because this one actually looks good as well. And it might, does that fit? Yes, it does. So that fits as well. And this might fit to the movement as well. So I'm going to check this one out as well. So I have a few that are good in this pile here. And this one here also looks pretty good. I think it's the same type of jewel. Yeah. So I'm going to check this one out as well right now and be right back. So both of these alternate jewels here do fit, but too much side shake. I don't like the side shake. This one here is perfect, so it didn't seem like it had any side shake at all. The nubby of the balance, which is the pivot, just sticks out, which you want, because then you want the cap jewel to go on top of that. So the first thing I'm going to do with this jewel is just rinse it out with alcohol, so I know that, so I can make sure that it's clean. So this is the original, and this is the replacement jewel. Before I do that, actually, I'm just going to throw all these other jewels in a container. That way they don't mix up. They don't get mixed up with the other jewels. So that would upset me severely. I am going to keep this one out though, right here, and put the rest of these away. And I won't show this process, but because it'll bore the heck out of you. So that's that. So I tried another candidate, but it did have too much side shake for my liking. It probably would work, but it was just not as good as the one I told you that works really well. So now let's just hope that the end shake is right on these and that it caps out perfectly. So this is the original here, so I'll put that back into the holding place. So the other thing I checked was to make sure there's absolutely no issue with the upper jewel here, and there is no issue. There's no cracks or anything. It looks like it's in excellent condition, no problem at all. So all I need to do there is take off the cap jewel and then take it out, clean it, and oil it. So it shouldn't be that difficult a job. So I do have my jewel now. So what I want to do now is replace the very small screws and the cap that was holding it. And you have a look here, because I've got two really small screws over here. I think those are the ones. I don't need to bring this into play. These are some of the other parts of the watch. It takes us a long time, as you can see, to get this thing back together. Especially when you get all these different jewel issues with the watch. So jeweling issues can be a bit painful. It's not just a cleaning. So this watch has had screw heads missing. It had jeweling issues. It's had parts missing that I had to order. It's had a lot of problems. So let me just put a little oil on this. So this is now, it's been cleaned. So I don't show you every possible step I've got here, but because you'd be on video for like a couple of hours. So I just need to put some oil on it. Now I normally would oil the cap, but I'm just going to put oil on the jewel itself. And that's perfect, not too much there, just a little tiny bit on there, and then the cap will squeeze that oil down. And I know I've done cap jewel, rotated, put it on, but in this case I'm just putting it straight on. And let me have a look. And the cap jewel is cleaned from my previous cleaning. And there's also a nice witness mark on this cap jewel. Now there's the witness mark there. I just have to find the witness mark on the movement itself. Move that out of the way. And the witness mark is right there. So now when I put this setting down, I can align that with the witness mark, which should be good. Now all I need to do is find the jewel. I moved something. Where the heck did the jewel go? Here it is. God, I hate when that happens. Just make sure there's no issue here, because I put this down on the mat and I don't want that to be tarnished at all. So a piece of pegwood is always good to do a final scraping of the jewel setting. Having fun. At least it landed up in the right position. Right, that's good. And there's the witness mark right there. So this will align with the screw holes and the witness mark. Exactly like that. So now if I can just push this down flat. That, my friends, is perfect. That is perfectly flat now. And now I just need to put these screws back. And as you recall, I had one on the left and one on the right. So I got to grab the screws here. And you put those in nice and snug. Say the word snug and not tight, because if you put them in too tight, then there's a chance of stripping the threads, because the screws are steel, but the inner plate is not. So screw that up. Always tricky. There we go, and that's going in nice and smooth. You can tell when you're turning your screwdriver whether it's working right or not. So there we go. That's all together. The new setting is in there, and I just show you that, and it is oiled. And it's fitting nicely in the slot, which is excellent. So, and we just pray a little bit that the depthing is right here, and then I don't have to do any adjustments on the depthing. So that's it for this. That's it for my video today. I hope you enjoyed it, and I'll catch you next time.